Hi everyone, Jonathan here for a special episode of What's This Weapon with my good friend Danny Michael, curator of the Cody Firearms Museum, which is where we are. I'm here for the Arsenals of History Symposium, and we thought it'd be nice to take a detour and do a bit of filming, and Danny's going to help me out with what on earth this horrific looking thing, that's my value judgment, of course, but what is this and why have you acquired it, Danny?
Well, I think viewers will probably recognize this as the M200, the Intervention, featured in multiple video game series.
And if they didn't, it's written on the side.
Very helpfully, we have our notes engraved in the gun, or stamped in the gun, I should say. And I believe it is the only factory fall camo they've ever made.
So this is I didn't remember this from my Modern Warfare 2 days, but so this is the full camouflage skin for the Intervention from Modern Warfare 2, not Modern Warfare 2-2.
Yes, from 2.
The Arabic numeral 2, not the Roman numeral 2. I think the first one, the one that we all played.
That one, the one that we should probably have an ACOG on this for.
Oh God, yeah, so many memes. Insert 360 no comment here. So I did play a fair bit of Modern Warfare 2, but I think the Intervention Model 200, M200, for me, I jumped to Shooter, the movie Shooter.
Good. What the hell are you doing? Put that weapon down now.
For zeros for 600. You gotta aim a little lower.
Ain't gonna make a difference. It's close. Only thing that's gonna make a difference is whether I'm crazy or not.
And that's very
Even
interesting.
though I put way more hours into playing it in a game.
I've always still thought of it. I've seen Shooter, and I've played Modern Warfare 2, as you have. Mm-hmm. I always still thought of it as the game, not the movie.
It's just the way my brain works, I think. But it really isn't that much of a movie gun. I mean, I can't really speak to users that have procured this for actual use, but it's minimal movie use. Actually, not that many games, but the games it's been in are pretty iconic.
Right.
It's in Armour, I think 2 and 3 as well, but really it's the Modern Warfare games, and it was, I had to look this up, but it was dropped into the in 2023, it was re-imported back into the Modern Warfare 2 game.
Right.
Online thing.
Yeah.
So it's still around, people still remember it really fondly, and you have a real 3D, not just because we often think about what we would do to represent video game guns in a physical exhibition, and one option obviously is to 3D print the asset from the game. We haven't done that yet, but I've talked with some developers about maybe one day we will. This is made even more real because it's an actual M200 that shoots and everything.
Yes, this is instead of making a model that was of a real gun, we just went back to source, got the real gun, and talked to the factory, actually talked to CheyTac about mimicking the camo, which they studied and did for us. Looks aside, it is a fairly faithful representation of the camo on the real live gun that is, the M200 that is used for long-range shooting in the real world. And
that's what matters, of course. The fact that I don't like this selection of colors is irrelevant. And this is a Cerakote.
Yes, this is
from them.
Cerakote from the factory.
And the scope is essentially to complete the system.
Right. So
from Night Force.
Yeah. So this is the scope you would get if you were not doing if you were, say, getting this in a plain FDE and using it for some real-world application. This is the scope that you would likely get with that, rather than just slapping on the ACOG to jump off a building and spin around and shoot somebody.
I suppose we should talk about the real gun a bit more than we have. Clearly, telescoping buttstock for compactness, and it's not a hugely long weapon for what it is.
Right.
Relatively big bore, which we'll come to in a moment, but it weighs an absolute ton. That is just so hefty. So the gun itself is something like, it's more than 29 pounds, if I remember correctly.
I have the number 35 in my head, but that could be with scope, with loaded mag.
I think that's with scope. We'll check that and throw something up on the screen. But it's so heavy, so chunky, and that's just by virtue of the very high pressure round that it's shooting and all of that. But it leads you to this iconic feature here, which is completely irrelevant to the gaming side of things.
Doesn't matter at all for gaming.
You have magic muscles for that. But for those of you who don't know, the way to carry this, this is as close to the center of gravity as they could make it. It's really the only practical way to carry this. You carry it upside down, just how it looks. I'm not going to do it, because I don't want to break this brand new acquisition that you've managed to somehow get past your panel.
You snuck that one through.
I mean, let's see, pulse rifle, vampire killing kit. You're in good company here today.
Yeah, I had to keep up.
But we're veering back into pop culture. So this is in 408.
This one is in 408. We have a spare barrel, same caliber.
CheyTac, however you want to pronounce it.
I say CheyTac, but
that's fine. So there is allegedly a British connection here, because this is really not very British, other than loads of Brits play Modern Warfare 2, which is that the round 408 CheyTac allegedly is derived ultimately from 505 Gibbs, which is a nitro big game cartridge.
I can see the double rifle origins clearly in this gun.
It doesn't even resemble any single game rifle, does it? I mean, yeah, I can't see anyone taking this out onto the field for any kind of hunting. So that's an interesting lineage that I'd like to go away and look into a bit more. We often find this with ammunition. There's very little new under the sun.
Right.
Generally, stuff is derived from something that exists already. So practically speaking, this is a little bit like 338 Lapua Magnum in the sense that it's a middle ground between something like 7.62 NATO / 308 Winchester and the famous 50 BMG round, machine gun round used for long-range sniping, anti-materiel, and things like the Barrett rifle. That's kind of excessively powerful and actually not intrinsically that precise at long distance either. So 408 CheyTac and 338 Lapua are both attempts to strike a balance. 338 goes for more of a 7.62 form factor, or well, stretch receiver, I guess. This is punching more in the middle, really. It's like, well, I don't know.
I would say it's up towards the higher end, because the 338s typically fit in a rifle that would be familiar in weight and balance to a 308 shooter, but
much more portable.
Much more. This is way beyond that.
Yes, it's in the weight class, really, of something like a Barrett.
Might be heavier than a Barrett.
So you're really could be. You're really going for optimal ballistics. You don't care about the compromise that 338 gives you.
Out the window.
Which is weight and bulk. Yeah. Now, so we have I think by default, a 7-round magazine on here. Yep. You do get 5-round mags. It's a rock-in. We won't do too much on the technical side here, guys. There's a Forgotten Weapons video that covers the M200, but it's a rock-in mag, single stack. Quite an interesting bipod design with this block, free-floated, fluted barrel, multi-port muzzle brake muzzle brake, and as I say, there's the sliding buttstock and the classic A2 AR pistol grip.
It's always seemed a little bit of an afterthought to me,
but it's on many things.
Right.
And then we have it's a reasonable throw. It's quite smooth in terms of lifting the bolt. And we have a fairly smooth action as well. Very long bolts, very long action for obvious reasons, very long cartridge. So enough serious stuff. Let's circle back to the sort of where I might kind of weirdly factor into this.
Yeah.
As to I mean, I don't think I inspired this. I don't think GameSpot inspired this, but we're operating in the same space, aren't we?
Right, we're in the same space, and a viewer might wonder, why did we get this gaudy thing?
Some museum trustees may wonder.
Some of my own colleagues may question my sanity, my board members. It's kind of your fault, is what I'll say. Okay. But really, because of its one justification, is it is a serious long-range rifle. Yep. Not with this particular camo scheme, but for other purposes it is. So there's a technical reason. But in justifying this, all of our accessions are reviewed by committee and go through a process. So I found myself writing about 360 no-scopes and trick shots and explaining all this cultural phenomena based on this rifle in Modern Warfare 2, where a lot of those things get started with the intervention, most famously, I would say. and justifying it more on its cultural importance from video games than its real world usage, although that is a factor. And if we're going to justify it for its popular cultural reasons, then why not get the hardest to get camo in game?
It does double duty. Yeah, I in all seriousness, I think it's a really great acquisition, ticking 2 boxes. Well, I suppose the alternative was to get one in a normal color scheme and this one, but I'm guessing that wasn't necessarily an option.
So when we were approached about acquiring the rifle, we did have the option, and we asked if they would be willing. You know, that's kind of a tough email to send of, dear manufacturer of serious long-range rifles that wants to be known for that, will you do this somewhat preposterous thing for us? But they were excited, and they studied the game footage and copied the camo for us.
So to be clear, this did come from you. It wasn't. It was a top-down, not
We did request the color scheme.
bottom-up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So we had a not the same situation, but with Chris, very kind, and this was through the GameSpot videos. Yeah. We got a contact through them. I think they know that the Vector is very strong in the virtual realm compared to necessarily practical purposes, and they helped set us up with reasonably priced Vectors.
So you got a Vector, and we got
2 Vectors.
2 Vectors.
That's 4. 2 Vectors.
And we got so you have the SMG class, we have the sniper class.
Yeah.
Effectively covered.
And I just thought, while I'm here, given what I'm doing right now, and probably until I'm 90, I could not pass up the opportunity to speak to you about this. And I just think it's very cool.
Maybe we can go full circle when Modern Warfare 2 Roman numeral 3 comes out, and they can use the museum gun in the game representing the earlier.
That's too meta, Danny. It's like Inception. I can't cope with that. So this will be in the collection in perpetuity.
Yep.
And I think I probably know the answer, but will you be displaying it?
The plan is to have this on display for our visitors very, very soon. So yes,
That
this
was
will
going to
be
be
on
my
display.
next question.
Yeah.
When? The people want to know.
The goal is so we're approaching the end of our visitor season as we record this, so likely for early 2025 for that visitor season here in Cody.
Well, we won't hold you to that one, just in case. I know how things go in museums, so.
Yeah, but we're excited to have it on display. We get more and more visitors that come to the museum because they know firearms from video games.
Yep.
It's probably the most popular way to get into guns currently.
Correct.
So,
we find this as well, needless to say, anecdotally, and we're trying to collect some more tangible evaluation data on that as well. But yeah, lots of people reference social media, lots of people reference games, movies. They make a beeline. They ask to see, they want to know where the prop guns are, that kind of thing. So we're not throwing out the antique firearms by any means. We're not sort of getting rid of serious stuff. This is very much another string to the museum bow. And even if you're super cynical, as some people have been in the past about this stuff, it's a way to get people through the door. I don't feel like that. I think this is actually valid, important stuff, reflecting culture.
If you could write that to my board. Actually, there's probably a case to be made to stick this next to a volcanic from Red Dead.
Amazing. Yeah. Do it. Thanks, Danny. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for talking about the gun.
And I hope to be back soon.
Yeah, maybe we'd love to have you.
Yeah, maybe we can do another crazy-looking firearm.
I'll go hunting.
Thanks for watching, everyone. And remember, switching to your pistol is always faster than reloading.